What are we looking at?
Well, I was just looking at some old clips of, remember Tim the Toolman Taylor with Home Improvement?
You mean more power?
Yep, it was always about more power,
Okay.
which made me think about one of the number one questions we see about cruising is about
Power.
power.
And why in the world was my surge protector confiscated?
Your power strip with a surge protector, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yes.
So let's talk about
More
the
power.
power. And this is Sharon and Mark with 4x2 Travel. And today's discussion is going to be about more power while you're cruising.
Or
We love to cruise, and specifically with Norwegian Cruise Line. So, of course, the thing is, when we go cruising, we bring a lot of stuff.
I think that's probably
We're going to bring our laptops because we have a few things to do. But most
and
of
we'll
us,
probably we'll bring our Kindles,
Our
and
Kindles.
we'll bring our tablets, and we'll bring our phone,
My
and we'll bring
earbuds.
our earbuds.
and a nightlight.
Oh, and a nightlight because it gets dark. And
And I don't think we need this, but some people are going to bring their crow. And you can bring, there are some things that are prohibited, but curling irons, flat irons for flattening your hair, and hair dryers are permitted as long as they are used appropriately. But some people are going to bring their own hair dryer.
yep.
And, well, this is a thing for your,
Well, yeah,
Toothbrush.
because I have
Electric toothbrush.
my electric toothbrush. I want to be able to brush my teeth.
and we even need to power up our
Watches.
watches.
Oh, it's 2:00.
So, now let's start at the beginning. We've gotten on the ship, and with most of the newer ships, we're going to go to our cabin. We're going to
Walk in.
hit the thing, walk in the door, hit the light switch, and nothing happens.
I thought we paid the bill.
So, one of the things, well, now with Norwegian and other cruise lines, they want you to have a great time, but they also want you to be safe,
It's kind of hard to have a great time if you're not safe.
right? And fire is a really big thing. And then secondly, there is conservation.
Yes.
And we have found that on the newer cruise ships and
Internationally, when we've traveled.
to a lot of hotels and
Yeah.
stuff, there is a little thing right inside the door where you put your key card. You get your key card for your cruise personal card. You put that in the slot.
And then
The
your
power comes
outlets
on.
and your lights are powered.
And the big thing is they don't want you going off to the buffet or somewhere and leaving the TV on and the air conditioning on.
Curling iron.
And that would be even worse if you left,
Yeah.
or you've gotten your steward to bring you
An iron.
iron for your clothes, and you've left something on.
Yeah.
So what you're supposed to do is when you leave the room, take the card out, the power goes off.
And yes, there are ways to bypass that.
But you don't really need stuff going while you're gone. Keep it safe. Be conservative with the power.
Yeah.
So,
Because, we want to keep
Yeah.
the prices down for everybody.
and so we go in the cabin. The main place we're going to find outlets or power sources
At the desk,
is
right?
at the desk. And generally, and we'll show a clip in a second, but showing the actual couple different desks. But most of them are all going to have one European and then 1 to 2 or 3 US outlets
Right.
that are all right there on the desk for you to use.
Right.
We'll get the specifics in a minute.
Okay.
But then in the bathroom, we have found,
There's another, it's like a 2-prong, but it's funny looking.
right,
And it's got a switch, right?
right. And it's labeled there, and there's a couple different labels.
Oh, okay.
One is, it is for
Shavers only.
shavers or razors only. It is not for hair dryers or curling irons. You need to use those at the desk.
Probably because they have heating elements and they have a
Right.
larger draw.
That's probably the case.
Okay.
And it will take either a European plug or a
an
US
American
plug.
Yeah.
But you just need to hit the switch, whether it's 110, the US plug, or
220.
220 if you are using a European or UK device.
Right.
Okay, so we're looking at the different outlets, pictures of the outlets in the cabins. So on the desk, this was on the Joy, and you can see there's the one European round recess, and we have 3 different US plugs. Now, the difference here on the Sun, they were all labeled by voltage, and as you can see, they're not labeled, but you just have to be aware the US plugs are 110, 120, and this European plug is 220, 240. So that's the plugs at the desk, which is 1.5 feet away from the foot of the bed. Then if we go up here, this is the outlet that we find in the bathroom. And you can see it will either take the round two prong European, or it will take a US without a ground, a 2-prong US plug. And it's for shavers only, although we put a nightlight in there and that was no problem. And this little switch changes it from the one, it says 115, I believe 230, but it's US and European or UK voltage with that little switch. So that's actual pictures of those 2 items.
Excuse me. There is a third place that we find power. Mm-hmm. And where is that?
In our room at the lights by the bed, the head of the bed.
Correct.
But those aren't.
No, so those are all.
Those aren't PowerPoint like this, is it?
No, they've as they've upgraded, we have found all those wall lights to have a USB port.
So it's either USB-A, a regular, the square kind, or rectangular kind, and maybe a USB-C.
Maybe on the newest ships like the Viva, I don't know. But
You'll have to let us know if you've seen that.
At least the standard USB port, which is wonderful because we're all going to be having probably our cell phones and our Kindles, maybe even our watches. Mm-hmm. We're going to want to charge those things next to the head of our bed because that's our alarm clock and everything else. So that is a really cool addition. Now, as we talk about the head of the bed, there's one other device that...
Those CPAPs.
There are more and more people are taking a CPAP on a cruise.
And it's the cruise lines will provide the water for you. Just have to ask them in advance.
You can't bring your own water, but they supply.
The challenge is the cord for your CPAP is usually not long enough to comfortably sleep in the bed and have it plugged in at the desk.
Yeah, because usually from the head of your bed or from the shelf or end table next to the head of the bed to your power supply is going to be at least 8 or 9 feet. Mm-hmm. So your cord from your CPAP won't reach it.
Right.
I have read that you can also request a extension cord.
Okay.
Now, sometimes those things run out. There's other, if I were you and I had a CPAP, I would simply get a very
just a regular
lightweight, 12-foot cord. And just be safe and carry that with you.
And if you're worried about trip hazards, you can bring magnets and just even do it along the wall or over the on the ceiling if
Right.
you're on the other
So-
opposite side of the room.
And there's plenty of space under the bed to go too, but to eliminate the trip hazard, some people will get a longer
Okay.
extension and use magnetic hooks.
Okay.
So that's CPAPs.
Yes.
Now we're going to come to the fun part. Power strips. Now, some cruise lines forbid power strips completely. Just like you got the outlets at the desk, that should be enough. And probably 20 years ago it was enough. But with all of our stuff, it just isn't going to work. We need
Right.
more.
Power.
So the biggest thing is with Norwegian allows power strips
Yes.
as long as it doesn't have a surge protector.
Okay.
And I'm not going to get into all the technical stuff, but it has to do with the power that they generate on the ship. It's just a little bit different system. And again,
And
it's
how
all about,
things are wired are a little
Right.
bit different.
and it's
anyway,
all again
it's-
about safety
Yep.
and
You
and
don't want
fire
to
hazard.
accidentally start
We-
a fire.
We actually had a power strip
We did.
catch fire when we were overseas once.
Yes.
Don't know that, but I mean, it was flames coming out of the top of it. It was an exciting time.
Yeah. Don't
So-
do that.
Now, as we mentioned, though, if you have one European and multiple U.S., of course, you can bring just a simple. If you're from the U.S., you just bring a simple power strip, no surge protector,
Right.
plug it in there, and you're good to go.
Right.
If you're from the UK or Europe,
You can do the same thing.
you can do the same thing. Now, you just need, if you're from Europe, most of your devices are probably 220 voltage. And so you're going to get a power strip that has this kind of plug if you're from Europe. If you're from the UK, you're going to have to get some sort of an adapter
Sure.
for your stuff. But you gotta,
And I guess our European and UK friends would have to be careful plugging their devices into 110.
right, and usually it's, for the most part, you're right. They're going to have to make sure that they power all of their stuff. That is,
Their electronics will be fine, but it's things like hair dryers and
Well-
other things.
and why are our electronics probably okay?
Because, and it's the same reason, so let me have that. It's the same reason you can use USB cords, is because there are built into the bricks of your computer, your whatever, it changes the voltage. And just like these, when it has for USB, it changes, you said, into DC
Yeah.
and
so,
12 volt.
Right. So but this, if we're plugging this in, these, even though they take a US plug, are still going to come out 220 volts.
Yeah.
And if you look at your chargers, whether it's a brick on your laptop or these little devices,
Or your CPAP.
you look at the fine print and it will either say 120 or it'll say 100 to 250.
Right.
If it says 100 to 250, you can plug it into any of the devices.
Whether you have so like this one, this is our nightlight. This says 100 volt to 240 volt. So I can plug this into the shaver one.
Right, and even though it's not a shaver, it
Doesn't
we've never
have
had
much of a
problem.
draw. This is nice because it has a little battery in it, and so it will shine at night. But I can turn it on and off. It doesn't shine all the time.
Right, but
Anyway,
we
that's it.
love this in the bathroom because at our age, well, my age, I'm getting up, and it's really, really dark in the inside cabins.
It is.
So it's
Well,
great to have a night
it's,
light
It's dark.
in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But again, the issue is being careful. It even has a little label, whether it's 110 or 220, and you just need to make sure that you don't plug a 120 only into a 220 power supply.
Right.
Same with your toothbrush
So this
charger.
is for my electric toothbrush, and on the back it says 110 to 130 volts and 50 to 60 hertz.
Right.
But
So that's
so
not
this
going to
will
work.
work great on the ship. This will work great on the ship.
Only in the 110
10,
outlet.
right. And I can put it even in the shaver outlet and just choose 110.
Make sure you put 110.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But since we're going to be traveling through Europe and the UK, this will not work. This
Correct.
will become
Any
a one
place we stay
use
in.
only thing. So I went on Amazon and I actually found this one. I just put in the manufacturer of my toothbrush and I found this, and this does say from 100 to 240.
Right.
So I can use this for the whole trip. And it has a UK plug, European plug.
European.
Sorry, friends. But then I can just plug this into whichever receptacle I need to plug it into.
Right.
But it will keep my
And because we're bouncing
toothbrush happy.
around, Sharon picked up this other power strip that has adapters. So even though it's just a simple power strip, has a European plug on it,
Right?
but it also has a UK adapter.
Oh, that's handy.
So even when we're in the UK, we can plug that into their outlet
I can
and
plug
plug
this
the power
in.
strip in.
Or I could plug in like my
Phone.
computer or
Yes.
whatever into that, because it will take an American.
But just again, remembering in the UK, it's all
240, right.
volts,
So-
220, 240 volts, and your device must be rated
Yes,
for that or it will not survive.
yes.
So we've covered a lot of different stuff about power on the ship. I hope that it wasn't too confusing or overwhelming to you.
But if you still have questions, you know what to do. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we ask that you would subscribe, give us a like, ring the bell if you want to find out what our next video will be. And we hope to hear more from you as you travel well.
Yep.